And this event has some special significance where it's being held right now. One of the pivotal moments in the municipal election campaign happened right here at Carl's Catering when former Premier Bill Davis endorsed my candidacy to be the new mayor of Brampton, and that happened right here. For that reason, this is more than just a great hall to rent. It's very special because Bill Davis was one of the people that I considered a political mentor. And when you open the book up on the first page, you'll notice I've dedicated the book to Bill Davis's style of conservatism. And it's very different than what we're used to. And that's one of the things I like talking about in the book, to give you a sense of where I was hoping to take the province. Bill Davis was a different style of conservative. He was pragmatic. He was inclusive. He took good ideas from all corners. And by the way, he wanted to be here today and sends his regards. But I think he was a real role model for everyone in public service. And as much as the book, you'll hear some of the headlines about the duplicity of individuals at Queen's Park, and sometimes that's more sensational for news headlines. But a lot of the book was also about the type of province that we had hoped to build. The events of January derailed that dream, but the book is also talking about what we were trying to build together. If you recall, when I took over the PC leadership, it had 10,000 party members and was not diverse in the slightest, and it was $7 million in debt. And over that period, we raised record funds. The party had major resources, set a record for Ontario political fundraising in 2016, an actual provincial record. Whether you believe whatever figures you believe in the membership, whether it was 140,000 or 200,000, there was some dispute, it had gone up from 10,000. It was remarkable the type of growth we'd seen. The party was winning by-elections left, right, and center in places they had no business, whether it's Sault Ste. Marie or Scarborough Rouge River, shocking the political establishment. And what I talk about in this book is values that I believed were important. And I realized I made enemies along that journey. Being a conservative that chose to march in the Toronto Pride Parade with an official delegation, the Ottawa Pride Parade, and speak very clearly that love is love is love, and government has no business in the bedrooms of Ontarians, that caused controversy amongst many. Being the only conservative leader to support the motion on condemning Islamophobia. And at the time, the position that I took in the legislature was unique. But I believe, just like love is love is love, hate is hate is hate. And it doesn't matter which God you worship, if there is hate, Canadians stand shoulder to shoulder together in condemning that hate. And at the time, as I'm sure you're well aware, that was a sense of real acrimony in the conservative movement. I think Rebel Media dedicated more attack articles on me than they did Justin Trudeau. And if you've read Rebel Media, they're normally a conservative booster, and they were some of my harshest critics. But I was proud of the positions we are taking. Just like on climate change, to be a conservative that supported the National Climate Change Accord was rare. That was not what you were supposed to do as a conservative. You weren't supposed to care about the environment. I talk about in this book that I go back to Bill Davis again. He was the Premier of Ontario that created the Ministry of the Environment. And Brian Mulroney negotiated the Acid Rain Treaty, that it shouldn't be inconsistent to care about the environment and be a proud conservative. And that's why I talk about a lot in the book, the type of Ontario that I wanted to build, and why I was beyond the false allegations and how I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. What brought about the greatest disappointment was that what we were building wouldn't be possible, that type of inclusive conservatism that I believed could steer our province in the right direction, that much of that was lost along the journey. And I hope that they'll continue to be champions. Although I'm not, as you heard me say many times during the municipal campaign, for me it doesn't matter if it's Liberals or Conservatives or New Democrats. My party now is the people of Brampton. And as much as I'm not engaged in partisan politics anymore, I do hope that there'll be champions for that style of Bill Davis conservatism in the Progressive Conservative Party. I think those advocates are important. And so I want to thank all of you. What I went through over the last year would be almost like a movie script. When people ask me if politics was like House of Cards, I would laugh. That's for the movies. But some of the adversity, the duplicity, the dishonesty that I faced over the last year was incredible. And when it all happened, I didn't want to talk to anyone. I went back to my old riding in Simcoe North, and as you can imagine, when you face false allegations, it can crush you. But I had the support of my family, I had the support of my beautiful wife, Genevieve. Genevieve, give us a wave. And because of that support, it gave me strength. And one of the reasons that I really wanted to write a book and talk about what happened is I remember going to the hospital in my old riding, and I went through the waiting room because I had a small medical procedure that had been booked well in advance. And everyone in the waiting room said, we support you. This BS that you've gone through at Queen's Park, we support you. And I didn't want to talk to anyone, but they all wanted to give me support. And then I went to the gas station, and it was the same thing. A lady came up to me and stand up for yourself, fight back. I remember going to a meeting actually in Brampton at Williams Cafe. I've talked about this. I'm having coffee with a friend, Amadatia, and people kept on coming up to me in that Williams Cafe saying, don't disappear. What they've done to you, they want you to disappear. They don't want you to tell your story. They don't want you to get back up. But as I've said many times, when you get knocked down, it's not how hard you fall, it's how quick you get back up. And,
yep.
and because of the kindness of all of you, we now have an opportunity to build that inclusive city, to do great things in the city of Brampton, and I'm so grateful for that. And so I hope everyone really enjoys this book. It's unique, and obviously there's a lot of interest. I'm not sure many book launches in Brampton have this many media from all around Canada, but I think there's interest in this book for a number of reasons. People hear about politics being nasty, but there's never really an opportunity to look inside how political parties work. A lot of people say they don't like politics, but they can't really put their thumb on why they don't like politics. Well, I've said I'm very happy to be in Brampton, far away from Queen's Park, because of some of the viciousness of the political process. And I can tell you where this book is really unique, it opens up how a caucus works. It opens up on how a political party works. Normally, caucus meetings are private affairs. How a party governs itself are private affairs. And this book really opens that up. It tells you how the Progressive Conservative Party of Ontario, how the caucus functions. And I hope it's an enlightening read of our democracy. And I know I took many lessons as I wrote this book. I mean, there's many things that I really reflected on and learnt, and I hope you enjoyed the read. I hope that Dean, Dean's already had to do one reprinting. I hope he has to do many more reprintings. This is a great Christmas gift. If you need to get gifts for friends and family, I hope you choose to purchase a copy of Takedown. And thank you once again to Dean for this opportunity to write this novel, and I hope everyone really enjoys it. Thank you so much.